Good afternoon, folks. Slightly brighter day in global markets today with the S&P up nearly 5% in the last 2 days and crypto markets bouncing nicely as well. We are seeing potentially easing of the tensions in the Middle East. I wouldn't say we're out of the woods just yet, but we are in profit on our long trades, and I'm going to break that down for you right now. So take a look at this. First of all, I've got the S&P chart up here, and you can see over the last 2 days, up 4.72% from the low of about $6,308. Now, like I say, I don't think we're out of the woods just yet, but clearly that is a significant move. I mean, if you look at the whole correction from highs, we're down something like 10%. So we've bounced nearly half of that whole slide that we put in over the last couple of months already. Crypto today trading at the time of recording $6,843. Sorry for all that nonsense on the chart there. And we are coming into, in fact, we've just bounced from, a little bit earlier today, the point of control. And that is, remember, the area that the price at which the most volume has been conducted since the low that we put in on the 6th of February. So that is sort of the middle of the range as far as, not from a technical perspective, but as far as from a volume perspective. If we take a look at liquidations, you can see that things are basically playing out pretty much as we thought that they might while getting into this trade. As I thought things might play out, that's why I got into this long trade. Very, very volatile, but basically we've been liquidating more short positions than we've been liquidating long positions. So what do I mean by that? Well, look, prices have been wicking up and down a lot, right? Look at this. Big swings anywhere in the region of something like 3.6% of Bitcoin price, but the net movement has clearly been up and to the right, and that is because we've been liquidating short positions, and short positions have been leaving the market, right? About $180 million worth of short positions liquidated over the last 24 hours versus about $100 million worth of long positions. And that means that we are up currently on this trade just shy of $500. Now, it's not a big trade by any means, okay? It's not going to change the world. It's not going to change my portfolio. But I'm very pleased with this trade because we had a plan. We wanted to enter towards these lows, okay? Anchored around the low here, 65.6. And a little bit lower down the book here as well at about 65K. We also had bids in as a contingency even lower at these lows here, down in the 63K region. Towards the bottom of the range, we knew that people were jumping in short on these red candles. We knew that people were disappointed because we heard that the war in Iran was going to end. Put in a big green candle like this. Turned out that that was not the result. And everyone who got long there basically got liquidated. Thus, prices came down very rapidly. Now, we knew while that was happening, lots of people would also be getting short. And as we found some liquidity down here and bounce from the bottom of the range, if we started liquidating those short positions, prices would start to come up quite rapidly, which is basically what happened. Things have been volatile in both directions, but the net movement has been up. So just as a quick reminder, we got into this trade 0.15 BTC at $65,500, give or take. Most of that was a limit order, a limit buy order down at about 65K. And we are now up about $500 unrealized profit on that trade. Now, where do we go from here? Well, the situation is still very volatile, but looking potentially like we're getting towards something decent. With this caveat that I'll address in just a second. So we've got Trump saying pretty recently that Iran has asked the US for a ceasefire. US president said he would not consider the move unless the Strait of Hormuz is reopened. Donald Trump said Iran's president has asked them for a ceasefire, which he would not agree to unless the Strait of Hormuz was first reopened. This was instantly, or not instantly, this was pretty rapidly rejected by Tehran. Look at this, Iran war. Tehran rejects Trump's claim that it asked for a ceasefire as false and baseless. Tehran has rejected Donald Trump's claim that its leader has asked for a ceasefire, according to Iranian media. Earlier, Trump said he could pull the US out of NATO over its handling of the war. Follow the latest on the war. Pretty interesting stuff. Obviously, the kind of flip-flop that we're used to. But what you need to pay attention to today is this update coming from Trump later on this evening. So we've got Trump downplaying the uranium threat, which is particularly interesting. But he's got an address, right, set to deliver a speech at 9 p.m. US Eastern Time. So President Trump told Reuters he was no longer worried about Iran's uranium stockpile because it is so far underground and can be monitored by satellites. Remember, Iran's uranium stockpile has been pretty much a cornerstone of this whole thing, not just this time round, but for a very long time now, actually. So it's pretty shocking to see Trump suddenly come clean on that as not being a matter of relevance to this anymore. Just hours before he is scheduled to deliver a speech in Washington. President Trump said he no longer cares about the enriched uranium that Tehran still possesses because it is buried deep underground, as he continued to offer conflicting signals about how soon the war could end. Conflicting signals is really the problem that we've got here. That is so far underground, I don't care about that, he said in a Reuters interview, referring to Iran's stockpile of uranium, which was largely buried after the June 2025 strikes. His comment was sharply at odds with his argument that the main goal of the war was to prevent Iran from being able to produce an atomic bomb. I don't care about that. But look, what we've really got to pay attention to here is, okay, will there be a ceasefire? And then suddenly, no, there's not going to be a ceasefire. Or Iran says there's not going to be a ceasefire. Iran says they didn't ask for a ceasefire, I should say, more accurately. This is what I talked about before with the sort of boy who cries wolf situation, where suddenly this isn't massive news, although it is clear contextually that things do seem to be winding down, or at least approaching an end, right? On net, we seem to have more news leaning on that side of things. The market isn't so much surprised by this kind of flip-flop anymore, right? Iran coming back on that and saying, no, we didn't ask for a ceasefire. But do pay attention to this, because Trump could very, very easily come out and say something at 9 p.m. Eastern, which completely changes this whole thing. Could be good, could be bad, but just be ready for that. Be ready for that uncertainty. In terms of my trade and my longs, look, for right now, I'm willing to stay in this for the most part, but pending how we interact with this point of control, right? And once again, that is the area where the most volume has been conducted since the 6th of February, since the lows at the 6th of February. I'm going to look to start potentially scaling out of this trade. I don't necessarily want to be carrying a lot of risk into a news event, a news announcement like this at 9 p.m. Eastern today. But on the flip side, just bear in mind, this isn't a big trade, okay? I'm not really stressed about losing this trade. It's not going to impact the portfolio massively, and I do think that it's sensible to set up leverage trading that way. I don't think this is going to get liquidated, and this whole account isn't really worth enough to cause a big deal if it was. With all that in mind, the original goal of this really is to stay in till somewhere closer towards the top of the range. It was part of the original plan that we expected price movement to slow down at this area. That's usually what happens in an area of historic high volume, right? You've also got these highs here, this little cluster put in just a few dollars above where we are right now. The next target would be the other extreme, the extreme high end of this high volume area, right up at these highs, about 71.7, 72 and change. That would be the first proper target to get out of this trade. But like I say, not a particularly big position, and as such, I'm not in a massive risk to get out of this completely. But that is subject to change, right? We're coming into this point of control, and we do have a big news event coming up. If this was a bigger position, if I'd got filled on more of my buy orders, I would definitely be looking to deleverage out of that trade right now, take some chips off the table. And I might still do that before the day is done. But for right now, at the time of recording, as we approach highs again, I am happy with where I'm at right now. And also bear in mind, yes, the liquidation risk picture has changed somewhat on the 1-day time horizon, slightly more longs than shorts right now, just ever so slightly. But on the 30-day time horizon, there is still a lot of accumulated short side liquidation risk, i.e. a lot of shorts above us still to be liquidated or to capitulate out of those trades, and that all equates to the same thing, which is buying onto the market. We could see some really big moves later if Trump's announcement is really anything but negative, if it's positive, and we start coming in to liquidate some of these shorts that accumulated basically the whole time we were coming down to the levels where we are right now. But there we go. As always, the main goal remains to accumulate spots. If you want to address a comment I had on a recent video, look at this. So at the time I recorded this, we were up $340 in the trade, 67,860. And somebody commented on this video, Chilsey Coos, you trade too much. Massive BTC crash imminent, 30 to 35% drawdown. So first of all, Chilsey, thank you for the free advice. Appreciate it. I would actually argue that I don't trade very much at all. I've learned my lesson with over trading. I got into this position by limit order. It means I was literally waiting for the trade to come to me. Look, could be completely wrong in this right now, but history tends to rhyme in these situations. We know a lot of people got short while we were coming down, and we have proven already that we're starting to liquidate some of those shorts. Now, like I say, I could be completely wrong on this trade, but I want to make the point very clear that my overall goal with this is just to generate a little bit of cash flow by following patterns that I've seen before in order to fund more spot buying. And yes, if a 30 to 35% Bitcoin crash is imminent, I will be buying into that crash. But first of all, I don't think that we're out of the woods yet in terms of the bear phase of the market, right? Iran, no Iran. I don't think this thing is over just yet. I also think then it's likely that we see lower prices before we see higher prices. A crash in Bitcoin of 30 to 35%, I would consider a massive buying opportunity, but I'm not willing to risk that investment opportunity on catching a specific amount of sell-off in Bitcoin. The way we get around that, and the way I plan to get around that, is by dollar cost averaging. And that is the main goal here, is to just accumulate more and more spots while the market is down, and we ramp up that spot buying on particularly big down days. That means you don't have to time exactly where the bottom is, and I'm completely comfortable with not getting the best, i.e. the lowest possible price for one massive Bitcoin purchase. So I'm going to get slightly worse purchase price overall, but on average, I'm going to be at a good, favorable purchase price for my spot Bitcoin holdings. Hope that makes sense. As always, it's all entertainment. Nothing I say should be considered financial advice. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you found some of that interesting. There's plenty more coming. Cheers. Bye.